I was in this little medium security prison around 1999, 2000. And at this time, I had a position as the kitchen clerk. And so the kitchen clerk had a lot of power inside the jail, of course, because the kitchen clerk had access to stuff that everybody want. You know, sugar, yeast. You can make alcohol with sugar and yeast. He also had access to the food, eggs. You know, you want to work out and get big, you need eggs. Chicken, whatever. Kitchen clerk had power to get that stuff. So I had power to get and distribute that stuff throughout the prison. And there was only 2 people in the whole jail who had the title of kitchen clerk. Me and another dude from Baton Rouge, who's the one who was the one who ended up getting me the job. He was a dude, he was a bodybuilder. He was in jail for back in the 90s during that GHB steroid stuff. He got caught with a bunch of that stuff in Baton Rouge. He was on the bodybuilding circuit, big dude. And I met him when I was working out in prison on the yard, you know, on the weight pile. And I remember he came up to me. I guess he used to see me consistently because I'm not from Baton Rouge area. I'm from the, what they would call the New Orleans area, outskirts of New Orleans, West Bank, they still call that the New Orleans area. But so, I'm on the weight pile and he recognizes me and he says, "Hey man, what's happening, man?" I said, "What's up, man?" We get to talking, just talking about working out weights. He said, "Look, I noticed you consistent on this weight pile." I said, "Yeah, I'm trying to learn it, because I didn't know nothing about working out, other than just picking up weights and just lifting them. I was trying to figure it out." And he said, "Look, man," he said, I did this, for my whole life. I worked out. I'm into bodybuilding. I've competed in a bodybuilding circuit. Actually, this dude was when he got caught, he was actually in the bodybuilding magazines for getting caught with the GHB and the steroids. And so he was definitely a part of that community. Anyway, he says, "Look, I'm going to teach you how to work out because what you're doing is wrong. Don't listen to all these guys in prison who never did this before. I'm going to show you the right way to work out." And so we got cool over time on the weight pile. And eventually he was able to get me in as a kitchen clerk next to him. So me and him had the kitchen clerk job. And might I add, I got the biggest I ever been in my life by paying attention to this dude. I wound up, when I was in prison, this was the biggest I got. I was like 225 pounds. My arms were like 18 inches. Legs were huge. I worked out every body part. I was eating the best. This is the best of my life I've ever been in shape. And I had the kitchen clerk job for probably about 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. And it was just solid working out and eating good food. But I got this kitchen clerk job. And one of the things that the kitchen clerks do is that they help orchestrate and facilitate and help the flow of the main line during Chow time. In other words, when all the dormitories and the whole prison comes in during Chow, they have to go through the Chow line to get their tray, and then they streamline them in. You go in from getting the tray, on the tray, it's going to slide through. The guy's going to put, your greens on. Another guy's going to put your other scoop of greens or your cornbread or your bread. Then somebody's going to put your main thing, which is your chicken. It might be spaghetti or whatever. Then they're going to put the dessert. And then at the end, you grab your drink. And then the way it was, and they had two separate serving lines in this particular prison. So when the dorms came through, each dorm knew which side they had to go on. So the dorm would come in on this side and one would come on this side. They would go like this. They would walk up like this, and then they would get into the Chow line, main line, and come in the middle of the tables, because the tables were right here, and then they would start seating like that. So, I would help oversee this. I would make sure, the food pans ran quickly as, one was going out, and the pans made it to the dishwasher area where people would be in the dishwasher area cleaning the trays as they came with the big pressure wash. So I was helping all the areas facilitate and make sure the flow went smoothly so Chow would go smoothly and everybody can eat and get back to the dorms and eventually get back to yard call. So anyway, but there was this one little dude who worked with me, and his name was Joe, or they call him Joe Penal Institution, or Joe Peen. He had all kind of little names, but he was a cool little dude, and he was about 5'2". And I remember the first time I seen this happen, he was serving drinks. And he would be doing the drinks. Now, keep in mind, this is prison. So the people who are working on the Chow line or handing out food, of course, by human nature, they're going to take some of the food and give extra to the people who they cool with. And in Louisiana, they call them rounds. R-O-U-N-D-S, rounds. like from around the way. So they would take their rounds and give their rounds extra. Like if your round came through, in other words, somebody you knew from the street, one of your running partners, you would actually take a time and give them an extra piece of cornbread or extra chicken or whatever. Now, chicken was hard. You had to be careful with the chicken because you had to pay attention because there was also guards on each line who were watching the distribution. So you couldn't just 100% get away with it. You had to be careful on how you did it and how you gave an extra piece of chicken, because sometimes, and your rounds knew, or whoever was coming through, they knew that you was only going to be able to successfully slide them another piece of chicken if the guard wasn't looking or if the guard stepped away or took his eyes. And there was always opportunity because people are running games on guards too, because even, you know, they might ask me, somebody, man, like, say, bro, man, look, man, my boy's going to come through. You mind when I give you a little signal, man? You mind asking the officer, hey, man, come check this out so I can hurry and get my boy this, man? You look out for me? And yeah, you'll do it. You'll look out for him. You know, that's just the way it works. You know, people look out for each other in prison. Well, anyway, sometimes in the Chow line, which I experienced at another prison before this, you know, people are going to try, because I worked on a child serving line too, you know, back at a different prison before this. And so that's how my experience was. But sometimes people bully the weaker people who are serving food on the child line. Man, it's some crazy stuff you can hear on the child line from the servers and the inmates going back and forth. Man, you jeffing for the man. You don't want to give me an extra piece of chicken. And a lot of times the dudes who are serving the chicken, they ain't no cowards neither. So they're telling, man, your mom's jeffing for the dude. And they'll go back and forth. And it could be some vulgar stuff that's said back and forth. And eventually sometimes they go in the yard and fight about it. But a lot of times it's just people bumping their gums back and forth. You this, back and forth, but ain't nobody gonna do nothing, you know. But they do have bullies that are looking for a weak link on the child line so they can get something for nothing. Well, Joe was a little bitty white dude, and he was about 5'2", a little small dude. And he was serving the drinks one day, the first time I noticed, and they had these two black dudes. And listen, you can say what you want, but in jail, even in Louisiana, where, you know, it's not like California prisons, but still black dudes in general are looking for a weak white guy to victimize. That's just, you got to stand up for yourself, because they're looking for somebody weak and white to victimize. And even if you're a solid white dude and you get in one of the jails where, you know, you outnumbered, you know, you two white guys and you got, you know, 80 black dudes, you know, not all 80 of the black guys are going to be bullies, but a large portion of them are. You might get, you know, 30 or 40 of them who are straight up, you know, just bullies, you know, and they just looking to get together in a group and victimize or take from the white boy. Well, these two black dudes walked through the child line and they looked at Joe, and Joe was doing the drinks. It's the first time I noticed it. And they were like, say, white boy, you punk white boy, what's wrong with you, man? I watered down drink, man. Make me another one. And see, he got to be quick with this, because the guards too. Now, he don't want to get the guards involved, because if he calls out the guards and get the guards involved, then they're going to say he's telling on them, you know, you got the man involved in their business and all that. So he's just like, he's trying to ignore him, you know, man, make me another drink. And so he makes these two dudes another drink, and he goes, and every day I noticed this for like a couple days, they would come through, and then Joe would be on the bread, and they'd be like, man, give me another bread, man, you punk white boy, and this and that and the other. He'd put another bread on the thing, and it went on for a while. And then I noticed that I noticed that they caught him on the open yard one day, and they said, man, we're gonna quit. They told him, we're gonna quit asking, you're gonna start giving. We don't have to be arguing with you every time we get in the child line, man. It needs to be understood, man. You need to give us what's due to us. I want an extra this. I want an extra drink. You know, make my drink extra strong. And they were trying to strong arm him to get stuff from him. And so I'm watching this. I'm like, man, Joe, don't let them do strong arm you. Tell them to do something. Fight back, man. You know, I'm still watching this from the sideline. Anyway, so the dudes come back in line, and Joe's serving the cake. And I look, and they coming through, and he sees him, and he starts waving at him. He had like a little lispy voice. He'd be like, say, Peep, I got you over here, Peep. You heard me? I got you. Come on right here. You heard me? And so the dudes would come over there, and they'd be like, all right, what you got for me, white boy? He'd be like, man, look, we good, bro. I got you 2 pieces of cake, dog. And he'd bam, put each one of them 2 big pieces of cake and they'll walk away. And I'm looking, I'm like, man, Joe, man, these dudes are going to punk you out. They strong arming you, you know what I mean? And they were in different dorms than Joe, because the kitchen dorm was a different dorm. And so they wasn't in the same dorms with him, nothing. And so this went on, and I said, say, Joe, I said, why you gave them dudes two cakes and you acting friendly, Bob, with them, man? The dude's going to take more advantage of you. He said, say, bro, it's all good, Round, because me and him were cool. Say, Round, it's all good, bro, I got this. I said, what you mean you got that, man? Don't get them dudes no big cake, man. Them dudes are punks, man. Tell them something, man. Tell them you ain't giving them nothing, you know, throw a cake on them, you know? And he's like, nah, it's all good. I got cakes. You don't know. They eating my penis. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, I rub my nuts all over them cakes. I said, oh man, Joe, did you really do that? He said, yeah. And so this went on every day. They came through, and then he even showed me one day. He said, say, Big Round, and I saw him. He had the 2 cakes. He was going to the bathroom. He said, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm going to get one of them ready. I said, oh man, he'd go in the bathroom with the cakes, come out and have them set aside for the dudes. He had the cup set aside for him when he worked on the drink tray, and he would go in the bathroom and he even spit in the dude's drinks. And he would just act scared and give it to him. And I would watch him go to the table and they eat them cakes. They were eating Joe's private parts. They were eating his penis and his balls, you know. And I don't want this to be a channel where you know, glorify and idolize and laugh at stupid things. But this is not just stupid. It's a reality that these 2 black dudes who were bullying this weaker, smaller white guy thought they were getting something extra. But in reality, they were eating his filth. And it's disgusting, and they never knew it. And that went on for quite a while until eventually, you know, they got transferred, or they wasn't there no more, or Joe wasn't on the child line. I don't remember what happened. But every day they drank Joe's pee, because he would pee in the cups. You know, he'd pee in the juice. He would rub his privates on the cups. He would spit in them, blow his nose in them. And he did this all the time, every time they ate. If he was working on the chicken, you know, he was doing the main course, he would rub the big piece of chicken all over himself and serve it to him. And that's what they were eating. So before you a bully, think about what you're doing, because you really don't know the person that you're bullying. They may not be strong. They may be a small little white boy who's 5'2". He couldn't fist fight him, but he found another way to fight him. And he made him eat all the stuff that they think they shouldn't have been eating. He played them in the end, and they don't even know it. But he sat back and smiled every time they saw him. All right, y'all be good, bro. I got you. You heard me? Me and you, we cool. We cool. I even seen him on the yard day today, like, keep it coming, bro. We ain't gonna have no problem. He's like, man, look, I got you, bro. Me and you, man, we like this. You heard me? And I was like, man, he playing them dudes all the way, and they too stupid to realize it. So people will fight in unconventional ways. Thus is how warfare works. Prison's a crazy place. So if you don't want to go there, don't do nothing stupid, and you won't go there. Don't commit crime. And listen, this stuff ain't to be idolized. You know, the reality is you want to do better and not go to jail, but there's lessons to learn. And the reality is this is the type of crazy things that do occur in prison. So if you like this story, give me a like, a thumbs up, subscribe, and check out some of my other stories that I have. I have some interesting stories that I'm telling, and I want to get this thing going on With or Without Parole. Thanks for checking it out.